Welcome to Urban Dwell Dialogues, the podcast for everything real estate. And I'm your host, Iberibi. And in today's episode, we will be talking about the importance of a surveyor, the importance and the relevance of you surveying the land before you make purchase. And here with me is an expert, is a surveyor, Mr. Ibuka. Mr. Ibuka, welcome and thank you for honoring our invitation to be here with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'd
You're
like you
welcome.
to introduce yourself.
Okay. All right. My name is ESV Ebuka Tabansi. I'm an estate surveyor and valuer. I am the managing consultant of Tabansi Consulting. We're a firm of estate surveyors and valuers. Thank you.
Okay, so how long have you been in the practice?
I've been in the practice over 9 years.
Wow, 9 interesting years. Okay, so can you shed some light about surveying, the importance of a surveyor and surveying in real estate?
Okay. Primarily, I think I have to make some corrections there. We are, there are three aspects of surveying. There's estate surveying and valuation, there's land surveying, and there's quantity surveying. So we are estate surveyors and valuers. So a whole lot of people know just the land surveyors because they are the ones that do the mapping, the layouting, and all
Yes.
those things. They are they are not really the predominant, but they are the people most people know. And we are the estate surveyors and valuers. Primarily, we value properties. We value the monetary worth of property and plant and equipment, assets for different purposes, be it sales, be it mortgage, be it purchase, be it mergers and takeovers. Balance sheet, we do a whole lot of for both individuals and corporate organizations, and most importantly for the government by way of doing compulsory acquisition.
Interesting. That's very vast. Okay, cool. So could you walk us through the process to the practical roles surveyors play in ensuring accuracy and legality in property dealing?
Okay, primarily, right? If what we do, this particular question is in regards land administration, right?
Yes.
So, um, if you go to the Federal Capital Development Authority, the Directorate of Land Administration is headed by an estate surveyor and valuer. The Abuja Geographic Information System, Primitive System is headed. The director is an estate surveyor and valuer. So we are responsible, or we have the responsibility to perfect titling, as much as possible to give you a best value for money. So our roles, it's encompassing. It's so much that I can't even spell it out all of them now. But I think I will give you a few. So majorly, what we do is when you actually want to buy a property, be it land, be it the bare land and a land that already has an existing structure, you are supposed to call on either a lawyer or an estate surveyor to go and make and do the due diligence for you, and as much as possible tell you all that you need to know about the land or the property in question. And also, we go as far as finding out the land use, and to also ask whether there's any contention to the land use. And there are different land uses, so many people don't
Yes.
know.
Yes.
And we have an idea of the master plan. We work hand in hand with the town planners to we know the new district and the places, and as much as possible we are professionals that understand, the different. It's called the highest and best use. What say for example, now you going to a place like Jahi and you think it's predominantly residential. That's not true. There's particular place in Jahi that is
Okay.
mixed use. There's some that's commercial and
Commercial.
all. So you always need an estate surveyor to tell you, and most importantly, we also do feasibility and viability studies. It's more or less, the viability and how practical a project or an investment or a purchase would be on the long run.
That's very, this is really enlightening. I mean, I bet you a lot of people are unaware. A lot of people think it's just probably make a trip to Ages when you want to purchase a land and then it ends there. I think just very few people understand that the role of a surveyor is very important. Thanks for highlighting that. I would also want you to throw more light on a surveyor and a valuer. Are they same or do they complement each other?
All right. So like I said earlier, right? There are three aspects of surveying.
Yeah.
There's the estate surveying and valuation. There's the land surveying and there's the quantity surveying. So let me start with the quantity surveying, right? I probably don't know whether you've heard about bill of quantity. When you're building a house, purchase a land, bare land, before you erect the property, after the architectural design has been given to you, the building plan and drawing, you contact a quantity surveyors. Are called. So they literally give you the breakdown of what the market is saying as to the items, the materials, the elements you need to buy, and the quantity, unit price, and all. That's their job. And they are more of quality control. Then land surveying is more or less mapping out, layouting, and as much as possible, they are the ones that you call, especially when you actually want to set a boundary, be it beaconing, fencing, and all those things. They are the ones you call. And then we are estate surveyors and valuers.
Okay.
So our primary assignment as professionals, we are valuers.
Okay.
We value property for different purposes, like I mentioned. So why we are surveyors is because we survey the market. We do a lot of market surveys, a whole lot of market surveys across board. So for project management, feasibility studies, research, everything we do, what we do is we know the market, the indices, and all that comes with it, and we advise. So we are predominantly called valuers, not even surveyors. Yeah.
Okay. Can land truly be valued in terms of an amount? For instance, a 2-bedroom apartment in Ajahi goes for as much as 100 million. In your expert opinion, is this an accurate valuation or is it overpriced?
All right. This is a very, 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 it's become a very serious issue right now, and I can tell you for a fact that Nigerians, as it is at the moment in Nigeria, we don't so much believe in professionalism anymore, and every property is being sold based off a market approach.
Okay.
There are three different approaches in valuing a property. Primarily is a market approach, also known as comparables. Second is a cost approach. Now, if you really want to value a property and you want to get the actual value of the property, the best method is cost approach. Cost approach is what's the value of the land, the cost per square meter of the land within the area, and also the cost of construction.
Okay.
Now, what a whole lot of people do is the market approach. Be it if A sells a property on my street
for this amount,
XYZ amount of money, B will sell,
yes,
even if
irrespective of when mine was constructed. So I would work with, for instance, if I constructed mine like 5 years back,
Right.
and then someone who did his 2 years back,
right,
I'll put mine at the price of his, not working with the costs.
yes, sadly.
Okay, so based on that, so that I don't want to preempt you, so let me allow you to answer that, because I was going to say something.
Right.
So in this case, the person selling at the current price of the person who recently constructed, would you be saying the person is overvaluing his property? If he still sells it at the same price, would you say he's overvaluing it?
I think professionally there is actually a word or a phrase called overvalue.
Okay.
There's undervalue, there's the actual
A value
value,
and
and the
over.
overvalue. So we sadly we live in a society that's that anything goes per se. So I professionally believe most properties are overvalued, and it's because of the approach. And you actually wouldn't blame. We are human beings. Everyone wants the best value, for his or item, regardless of how it was purchased or how it was
Yeah.
done. And also the fact that there's this rising double-digit inflation that's hitting everyone.
Yeah.
So everyone, any opportunity one has, one wants and tries to maximize. But I think the responsibility lies on the government, to as much as possible step in, because there are other approaches. There's a market, like I said, there's a cost and there's an income approach to valuation. And what we should concentrate on at the moment is not just only market approach. Almost every okay, like most people do not even call a valuer before the sell or purchase anymore. It's based off on vibes.
Okay. It's a lot will, however I
Yeah, it's just based
feel
off on
about the
vibes.
property
And
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 put a price to
and
it.
yeah, I think I should really say this at this point. It's We also have of a serious pandemic, agents, serious pandemic, and it's causing a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And at the moment, everyone is an agent.
Okay.
You do not even know, you actually do not even know the dynamics, the indices to come about value. And a friend of yours, maybe like a church member, calls you, oh, I heard you're an agent. Can you come around tomorrow to look at my property? Tell me what I should put it. So I say, I just give a value. Maybe because you have a friend, a colleague, or that
Yeah.
sold something, or that's selling, that's marketing something that
Yes.
has not even sold it yet. And you people just put everything at once. So I think it's a serious pandemic,
Okay.
and the
Okay.
overvaluing aspect you asked, I think yes, most properties are overvalued.
Okay. So would you say it is a mix of selfish interest from the agent and maybe the owner too? So that is what makes the property overvalued. Would you say that could be the reason?
No, I think it's not just because the truth about it is, if the government gives us room, opportunity for people to just there's the deregulation of pricing. There's no
Okay.
price control anywhere in
Okay.
Nigeria.
So who regulates? What body is responsible for the regulation of this of the sale of properties? Is there a body or is there a body responsible for that?
Okay. Primarily, I would say there's supposed to be a body. Our body is called the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Then there's the regulatory arm of the government that regulates the profession, which is called ESVABON,
Okay.
Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria. But sadly to say, it's very sad because we've gone for a whole lot of public hearing at the Senate and all those things. We have not been given the mantle and the mandate, fully. And the truth about it is that if you look at all these things, you really cannot just as a body
Yes. Take laws into your
take laws
hands.
into your hands. Although, like, you know, theoretically, what we learned in school, all we were taught was we are the ones to do all this X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
But we operate in a democratic system. And I actually do not want to say much, but bear in mind that
Why don't you want to say much?
so it's more
There's
or
no point
less
sweeping anything under the carpet. I mean, we're
okay.
trying to find a solution here.
Right.
because a lot of individuals are being, in quote, ripped.
Right.
Yes, I think there's an imbalance in the system.
Right.
So, but we need to find a solution to this because daily properties are being overvalued in Abuja. It's on the rise right now. It wasn't this much, but it's on the rise. We have such cases probably in Lagos, but it looks like we have some of them migrating into Abuja and giving that same vibe. So we're having several cases of such. In your own opinion, or if you were to suggest or you were to prefer a solution, what would you say about this, or how do we go about curbing this?
Okay. I think it's a case of, like, primarily I would just say it's a very very straightforward issue. So I personally think that the inflation that's happening in real estate is artificial and it's induced. It's not real.
So where is it coming from?
We all know
What's the
what's
source?
happening. We all know what's happening. Like, it's a case of oversupply
Okay.
of products, of
So we
projects,
have a lot
of
of
supply. Now, why I'm saying this is over. Now, the thing is, bear in mind that there are still supply, but it's not even bridging the gap, the housing deficit, meaning that, there's purchasing power is not good enough for
okay,
these
okay,
projects
okay.
and this supply, and there's no demand. And when you even get a demand, it's not even effective. It's not backed up with the willingness and the ability. People might be willing, but they're not able to. So the inflation generally is induced and it's artificial. It's not real. Meaning the fact that there's so many projects that are going on, different ways people fund projects. Let's be honest. you know. So
I
and
want to know those ways. You're speaking in parables.
I am
You're speaking in parables.
interesting.
So at least you could cite one of the examples. You said it's been induced. So you could just give an example. Okay, what's actually causing this?
Okay. I think it's a public knowledge by now. What happened between the former governor of CBN and the FG,
Okay. Okay.
right? So say let's just assume that that those properties were not seized from him. Let's just assume that he just found his way around, and for you to know the expanse of land, 700 and something units of building, almost 1,000 units would occupy based off on infrastructure and all those things. That means it's so much. So now, naturally, if those properties are being marketed, right,
Yes.
and they are being marketed by XYZ amount of money,
Yes.
at XYZ amount of money, trust me, the this the man does not need the money. He's not in business. He's just, it's
For
more or less like a
self.
store of value.
Yeah.
That's what he's using those things to do, those projects to do. And at the end of the day, you find out that if they start selling 1, 2 units of those properties, it affects the property pricing around that area, even if it's not real. So I will just be honest with you. The artificial thing I was talking about is corruption, and as much as
Beautiful.
possible, I no, it's a known fact, and as much as possible, there's so much illicit and illegal money in the system, be it the old ones and the new money. We all know how these things are. So and to be honest with you, real estate is it's supposed to be a business.
Yeah.
If you enter there to store value, you're not helping the system. You understand? You're really not helping the system. You're supposed to, you invest and you flip in due time. And when I'm saying in due time, so that you don't go up and down with your pricing, you don't affect the pricing. So I think it's just it's majorly hovers around corruption. Everything hovers around corruption.
Okay. What is your take on some developers selling receipts instead of land?
Okay, receipt. To be honest,
So you have a receipt and in quotes, a land somewhere that you haven't seen, but you have receipts showing that you possess a certain land.
right.
Okay, so maybe I should digress a bit so I can give you room to explain in broad terms. Also, someone selling a part of the bush, I'm going to talk like a layman now, part of the bush, claiming that this area has been approved. What do you have to say about that? Because, I mean, before people can have access to make sales of a particular area, you can claim me on this, the surveyor should have, mapped out in relation with the urban and regional planning and all that, and ensured that, okay, yes, we've done our mapping and we are ready to open this place up for development. So what happens in this case?
Okay. I think this particular issue is actually, as you're blaming the developers, you also blame the purchasers. Because if you go to the law code, they tell you ignorance is not an excuse. That's the truth. Now, and let me start from the purchasers, because I have a problem with people nowadays. And the issue is that they just want to do things alone without involving a professional. Maybe because of the added fees they have to pay for the professionals, be it a lawyer, be it an SSOV and valuer. If you engage a lawyer and a valuer before you purchase anything, I mean, you will not make much mistakes. So there's a heavy and a pandemic. There's a disregard for professionalism now. Everyone thinks, because you have ChatGPT, you have we
You have knowledge at your doorstep.
Yes, we literally live in an informed, era. And but as much as the information is online and it's in different platforms, who are the ones that are putting up this information? Because what we know about AI and all these things, and especially all these search engines, is literally someone that puts it.
Yes.
What's the person's experience and understanding? So the truth is, and a whole lot of times, especially when people get duped, I tell people, if you check, it's greed. There's an iota of greed there, because they'll tell you bonanza, sharp, 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 sharp. Are you buying crayfish in the market that you're doing sharp, sharp? You understand? So, and let's also go to the developers. And to be honest with you, they're in business. In every business, there's fraudulent people and there's the genuine people. So, and there's a pandemic too of
Yes.
of fraudulent developers in the market. And
yes, it looks like there's an insurge of them.
Yeah, there's an insurge, serious insurge. And I can tell you that it's if the government actually wants this to stop, it to stop.
Okay, but is it the government's place to regulate these developers? And then again, these developers, is there some sort of approval or license that is given to them? Or I can just wake up and decide I want to become a developer. Are they licensed? And then if they are licensed developers, is it out there? Like people in the public, do they know that, okay, if I want to make purchases, these are the kind of, or these are the developers to deal with? And are they fraudulent developers that are known that people should be aware of?
All right, I will start from the first question. And yes, obviously there's a chapter, and a chapter of it's called REDAN, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria. And yes, they've been in existence for a minute. And I can tell you that the reputable, I know of reputable developers within them, like FAB.
Okay.
We all know.
Yeah.
A whole lot of them, But the truth about it is, I can also be honest with you that these people have limited control, because now the thing is, a whole lot of these new recent developers who are coming up with all these schemes, all these things, they have funding from different people that are bigger than this association.
Lest I forget, the discussion got so juicy that there's a part of the question you did not answer. The part of some developers selling receipts instead of land.
Okay. Okay. I think yeah, it's a trend now, and most we all know the popular one, you know,
So
and
which is
which is the P1.
yeah, P1,
And
P1 real
but
estate.
although I have not actually dealt with them before, but to be honest, but I've heard a whole lot of things about them,
Okay.
and they are more or less like the scapegoats.
Okay. So what's the body doing about them? If
Um,
we know that they are fraudulent and then we're allowing them to thrive.
like I said earlier, right? We lack the legislative power, and as much as possible, we lack the strength, the democratic will and strength to do these things. But it's within the confines of our of our profession. But there are a whole lot of professionals in this built industry. Bear in mind, so many professionals, and we all have our individual roles. But I can tell you that if the legislative arm of the country wakes up, at any point they wake up, is our morning.
Whenever they wake up, it's our morning.
Yes.
So right now it looks like we're allowing the developers to eat as much meat they can find.
Yeah, because no, the thing about this thing is, like I said earlier, it's a business. Property is a business. Real estate is a big time business, and in every business you have the fraudulent and the genuine people, like I said. So it's sad that, and also coupled with the fact that the economy is really hard and people actually want to survive, and people get into different organized activity, crimes, and all. And I can tell you for a starters, you can't, on your own as a professional, you can't stop all these guys. So I think, and the most you could do is sue them, or report them to the relevant authorities, and you leave them. You can't take laws into your hands,
Really?
actually. So like I said earlier, the moment our legislative, wakes up, is our morning, because they have every power, they have every right. And once and we live in a country or in a society where we are policymakers. We know how to make policies, but we don't implement. We don't even execute. So now the thing is, it's not actually coming up with these policies or this act or these bills. Where lies implementation? There are so many states that if you go to local governments of different states, you see a whole lot of impunities, especially when it comes to properties under the customary right of ownership. And there's so many things going on in Nigeria, and I think it's not even and if you go to court, right, especially property courts, rent court, and all those things, the cases are plenty, so many, and it's primarily because everyone knows everything lands in court. you know you you scam someone, naturally the person will sue you to court. Everything ends and lies in court. There's really no I'm actually trying to get the right word. There's no severe consequence.
Oh, right now there's no severe consequence.
It's just court.
So it just lies
Um,
on the individuals to do their due
Diligence.
diligence
Yes.
and be watchful.
Yes. Yes. But there are also all the other anti-crime and agencies that we know about, right? Uh, they are doing a whole lot. I'm not going to lie. There's so many cases that I know about, and I can tell you that they can't even cover the whole country. There's so many things going on out there. So I think there really has to be kind of like a conscious effort. Most the stakeholders and the statesmen in Nigeria should come together and say, where is our future? You know, because once we understand that real estate is literally something that can improve the value and also and the foreign perspective of a country, how people look, because there's no reason why a property should appreciate under 2 years 100%. I mean, what are the indices? What are the dynamics? How are they calculating these things?
Yeah.
You understand? So
Still good to be true.
yeah, you buy a property for 5 naira. They tell you that buy this property for 5 naira. It's 2 years time it will appreciate to 10 naira, 15 naira, 25 naira. It will, but it shouldn't. Right? It really shouldn't.
So there should be some sort of control.
That should be the capping. The capping. Like okay, now we spoke about different approaches to valuation, and I mentioned the cost approach.
Yeah.
Where you find out the cost per square meters for land in different areas, district.
Yeah.
For example, in Wuse 2, there's a different cost per square meters for land in Wuse 2, in Mitama, and it differs.
Yes.
All the district. And also the cost per construction. Be it a duplex, be it a bungalow, even fence area has different cost per square meters for construction.
Yeah.
Now, how many people know this? You know how it is now. We say we are informed, but what is the extent of information that we think we have? You know, and primarily, I think what we should even be concerned about is it's as much as we want the value and the pricing to be capped and regulated, we should also curb this insurge and pandemic of agents.
Yeah.
You know, you see an individual that has a 9 to 5 job in a ministry, department, or agency. On the side is agents.
Well, probably because he has access to
people.
Yeah.
You know, products and people. Simple.
Okay. Can you throw more light on why certain locations in the city are more priced than others? For instance, the highbrow areas like Wuse, Mitama, Asokoro, as to places like Lugbe, Kuje, and all that. Can you explain why the prices differ?
Okay. Fundamentally, there are different reasons to that. First is the land use.
Okay.
Second is the master plan. You know, we live in a city that was pre-planned.
Yeah.
Right. And initially, the FCT was planned for people to be coming from the outskirts. Suleja. If you know anyone that's lived in FCT since the 80s, they will tell you the capital, the where people were living was in Suleja.
Oh.
Yes, that was where a whole lot of FCD staff were before they started coming to town.
Okay.
So, and a whole lot of all these properties in town were more or less like a government-owned property. Before monetization by Obasanjo happened, they sold to people occupying different spaces and positions and all. So, and also, in the grand scheme of affairs, land use also differs. Excuse me. So, the most expensive district in Abuja, so to say, is the CBD central area.
Yeah.
Because it's a mixed use.
Okay.
You know, it's a high mixed use, but it's mostly commercial.
Commercial.
Second, it should be based off on the activities happening now. Second should be Wuse 2.
Yes.
But it's not that way. It now has to go to Mitama.
Mitama.
And why? It's because of the affluence, you know, and all that comes with it, and the prestige. And now Wuse 2, before you start talking about Asokoro and Gariki. Now, and we also have to understand that Abuja was phased, like I said earlier. That's the phase 1, that's the phase 2, that's the phase 3, that's the phase 4. The phase 1 are the old, you know, areas, district like Asokoro, Mitama, Wuse 2. So they have a different value.
Yeah.
So it's why this a town cannot be built by a city cannot be built by just one professional.
Yeah.
So both the town planners, both the surveyors, both the architects, both the builders, everyone came together to build FCT.
Okay.
And in town planning, there's what's called highest and best use. Also, it's a way to apportion all these things, so that, because the truth about it is, if you go to other countries, they're the highbrow areas, and it's more or less like a district that that the state or the country, feels so proud of. That, okay, have you been to my country? Or my state, have you been to my state? The capital is really good. So I should believe, if we are to have a capital of the FCT, I should believe is the phase 1. Right. So naturally, it won't be the same price.
All right. Thank you for honoring our invitation and being on this podcast with us. We hope to see you again sometime in the future.
Right.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Welcome.
Come to the end of today's episode on Urban Dwell Dialogues, and I remain your favorite host, Iberibi. Do follow, share, like, and comment on all our social media platforms. See you in the next episode.